What's up, my fellow brother bears? I'm your host, Buddha Bear.
And I'm your co-host, Black Bear.
And welcome to
The Anime Den. And in today's video, we're going to be watching the trailer for ReZero Season 2.
Starting life in another world. So without further ado, let's get right
into the video.
What's up, my fellow brother bears? As you notice, it's morning. Our file that we recorded for this ReZero trailer actually kind of got messed up. There was no audio recorded from our side, so we kind of spent like probably 37 minutes of us talking about our theories and stuff, and it just kind of went out the window. So now we have to do this in the morning on the day we were supposed to release the video, so hopefully we'll be able to get that out to you guys today. We're gonna just be doing a side-by-side. You're not gonna be able to kind of see us reacting, and we have no headphones, so we're not gonna be able to hear anything, but it's not anything we really need to be listening to. So we're gonna kind of just start it off now, and then we'll tell you guys how it is. We'll hopefully try to have it side by side from what's going on. With now Subaru talking. Yuko Tani Mashiro.
なるほど。それが君の欲の根幹か。なかなか興味深いことだね。おや、驚かせてしまったかな。人と話すのはずいぶん久しぶりだから、つい気持ちが流行ってしまったよ。僕の名前はエキドナ、強欲の魔女とそう名乗った方が通りがいいかな。
So they were transporting the whale. That was literally the to the new antagonist.
ReZero から始める異世界生活セカンドシーズン2020年7月放送開始。
July 8th.
俺は必ずお前を救ってみせる。
Okay, so now with that, we have the trailer. We're gonna have to kind of go back and talk about what we thought everything was happening. Where do we start? Let me think. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Black Bear wasn't feeling so good. His stomach has been hurting a little bit. So I had to ask him if he was okay after I paused the video, and he said no. So kind of took him to his room, gave him some medicine, and we're gonna try to record a video today because, you know, we gotta post something for you guys. So when we were going off of yesterday, me and Black Bear were talking about a little bit of what we were kind of reiterating what season 2 for ReZero, starting my life in another world, is going to be kind of answering with these questions. First we were talking about the antagonist, who were shown, and then we kind of went on to talk about what the story is going to most likely be talking about, and then hopefully questions that would be answered. Instead, I'm just going to do a sideways thing. We're going to talk about the story on what's going to be happening from what we saw in the trailer. Obviously, you know, from the trailer, we obviously see that this is exactly right after episode 24 in season 1 of ReZero, where they just defeated Gluttony the White Whale, and they're currently taking back his head as a trophy. So literally everyone is together, and then our 2 new antagonists come and attack Subaru and the group. It's kind of weird how it plays out, because it looks like they took 2 routes. Rem was definitely fighting in the morning, as we all saw, and then Subaru didn't find out that Rem was hurt until night. So it looks like they kind of trailed off 2 separate ways. And this is where it led it up to be where Rem fought the 2 new antagonists. I kind of want to speak about those 2 new antagonists for a little bit. Firstly, I'm going to have to reiterate that these 2 antagonists are most likely cultists of the Sins. What I mean cultists of the Sins, they're like Betelgeuse, where Betelgeuse was a follower of the Sin of Sloth, who the Sin of Sloth, as far as I believe, you know, is Satella. You know, Satella could be the Sin of Sloth. She could also be Envy, because, you know, it's quite easy for her to be envious at Emilia for being able to spend time with Subaru when Satella can't. Sorry. Mute the phone. So unprofessional. And we have a little chat on why these kind of guys look like cultists. I was really hoping our recording didn't end, because we do end up going back in the video and kind of looking at the cultists. You guys can definitely rewind and kind of look at the cultists a little bit more as I'm speaking, or I can probably try to find a little thread in our video to kind of mash up together, but I'll see what I could do. Well, as our 2 antagonists, as you guys saw, these 2 antagonists were obviously extremely powerful to be going against Rem by herself. We obviously do know Rem is extremely powerful because of her Oni powers, and because of her horns. She definitely has enough magical power and strength to go against people of abnormal, you know, who could be at least stronger than the average human. She obviously wasn't as strong as to fight Betelgeuse by herself, because Betelgeuse had his magic of the Shadow Hands, and Rem had no way of fighting them. These 2 characters, in my eyes, though, are definitely like Betelgeuse as cultists. The white-haired guy with the yellowishy eyes does look like he is the cultist of the new introduced character Echidna, the Witch of Greed, and our little spiky teeth friend with the green eyes, who looks like he'd probably eat a person or 2. Definitely looks like the cultist of Gluttony, who was just eliminated. I can kind of go into a little bit more facts on why I believe these guys to be those kind of cultists of the Sins. The new antagonist with the white hair, I only say he could be the cultist of Greed because of his white hair kind of looking like Echidna's. Obviously, white hair tends to travel with the Sins. You know, Echidna having white hair, Gluttony being a white whale, Satella being a white elf, you know, who could possibly be the Sin of Sloth, or Envy, and then Puck, who, while in his transformed state, transforms into a giant white cat. So, you know, the white color tends to trend with the Sin. So that's why I kind of believe that he is kind of could be a cultist, and if not, he could be a Sin himself. Which Sin, I do not know, but I wouldn't be surprised if he is either a Sin or a cultist of the Sins. And then we kind of go and reiterate about the new character introduced, Echidna, you know, the Witch of Greed. We've now been introduced to another Sin who looks like they can speak and would most likely have a conversation with Subaru. Puck, you know, we've obviously met Puck, but Puck doesn't look like he has anything to say to Subaru, or doesn't wish to say anything to Subaru that he needs to know, or possibly doesn't have to know. Gluttony doesn't look like he has enough intelligence or even wishes to speak to Subaru. And, you know, from where we stand, Satella doesn't wish to tell anything about Subaru. All we can tell is that she is hidden somewhere, probably inside of Subaru or in another pocket dimension, watching over Subaru as he goes through his adventure. With Echidna, though, being the Witch of Greed, it introduces a lot of new things for us. Greed, mostly in most animes, greed characters that are involved with the sin of greed are like kind of like brokers, information brokers. So they tend to want to give information at a cost, you know. And with Echidna being greed, you know, we might most likely will see greed's most powerful ability, which is the power of deals or contracts being formed. So there could be a deal that Echidna could do with Subaru in order for him to get more information. Subaru might also be able to find out more information on the sins himself and why he was chosen as Pride, to take the throne of Pride. I'm pretty sure that I haven't seen the anime in a while, but I'm pretty sure that Subaru isn't even aware that he's been chosen for the seat of Pride. I'm pretty sure that he's just trying to survive, get through it, and kind of win Amelia's height. Not a fan of her, by the way. But you know, hopefully with Echidna we'll be able to see a couple more things. Echidna is definitely looking to be very schemish, a person who thinks, you know, 4 steps ahead of everyone else. You know, Subaru is smart, but you know, Echidna is a sin herself, so she might end up proving to be either an ally in the beginning and end up switching to an enemy, or she could be playing a neutral party in order for Subaru to just gain information and kind of being helped in the quest. What else? Obviously, and then we can go on with the story on what's happening. How season 2's what season 2's story will most likely be about, with obviously having Subaru and Ram this time. Now having season 2 now giving Ram screen time to go and save her sister, who looks like to have her soul taken. My bad. Why I say that Rem's soul was taken is because if you were looking at Rem's condition or her body, you know, it didn't look like she had any fatal wounds, any punctures or stabs, or not even any bashes. You know, it looks like she herself is in a deep sleep kind of state, as if something was stolen or she was put in a trance. The thing is, our 2 antagonists do look like they would be brutish killers. So I don't think they would put her to sleep. I do think that they would probably have taken something from her, which I would say is to be her soul. Why do I say her soul? Is because, you know, in a world where magic is, the soul is souls in most animes that deal with magic are the essence of power, has like pure energy. And since Rem is an Oni with her horn still intact, not like Ram, she definitely has a lot of power in her soul, so it could be that her soul was taken. Going off with Ram now joining Subaru's journey. Ram, you have to remember that Ram's horn was broken. That is why Ram does not fight. I cannot say that Ram is useless, because she has not received, you know, a lot of screen time. You know, usually when we see Ram, she's either in season 1, she's either with the leader of the house, who, by the way, could be the sin of lust. You know, the sin of lust is probably the only sin that we have yet to see. And I'll talk more about the sins later. But we only really see Ram at the house, you know, and most of the times she was either killed at the house. We either find her body where she is killed, or, you know, she is taking care of the house. So we're now going to be able to see some screen time. Hopefully Ram does get her powers back, and will prove to be I don't want to say will further her character development. And then obviously, you know, we have new characters showing on other, like, not talking about our antagonists. We do have the new blonde maid and the new new blonde boy, who was shown in the midst of the anime, you know, with their sharp teeth, looking to be brother and sister. We do know that the blonde girl with the sharp teeth does give Emilia a gem. What that gem is, I don't know. It could be definitely important for later in the story. And then the blonde boy with the sharp teeth and the double and the cross and the X scar, who looks like he will be joining Subaru as another ally for most likely Muscle, since they have lost Rem and they don't have as much manpower. This could be a new ally that will be assisting them. And now I kind of want to come back to the sins on what we know of as of right now. I will make sure to put a warning on in the beginning of the episode, because I've almost basically talked about all this spoilers of season 1. As of right now, we do know, if you guys don't, but if you do know, in episode 1 of ReZero, the person who was hanging out with Subaru was not Emilia, but in fact Satella. There's a couple theory videos going out there talking about it, and it is kind of proven. When Subaru is hanging out with Satella, she tends to be a little bit more joyful. She was extremely happy and outgoing. She was extremely happy to be spending this time with Subaru, and it wasn't until Subaru's first death and he met Emilia again where he called her Satella, and Emilia took that to be absolutely offensive and struck him in the face. And goes on to say, and that could have been a complete, people could have been like, oh, that could have just been anything, but I want to definitely believe that that was Satella that was shown in the first episode. And as far as we know right now, Satella is hidden somewhere watching Subaru. How she was able to take over Emilia's body the first time and kind of speak with Subaru, we don't know. Hopefully season 2 kind of answers that question, but as of right now, we definitely know of most of the sins and a couple but theories on who is a sin. If we can go on our list, we can kind of go on the list right now. We have Gluttony, which is the white whale, who is now deceased. So we have Greed, which is now Echidna, who has now been shown. We have Wrath, who is most likely Puck, because if you've seen the movie, Puck's powers usually show out when he is angry, and Puck is usually cheerful, but is quick to anger when upset. We kind of do see this even in the anime when Emilia dies and is in the hidden chambers and the whole mansion is frozen. We do see Puck's true form, and he basically freezes everyone and kills Subaru. We also see that in the movie of Puck's true form with his ice. But we can definitely tell that he is if he is the sin, he is the sin of Wrath, and I do believe that Puck is the sin of Wrath. Then we have going off with Pride, Pride obviously being Subaru, whether Subaru is the sin of Pride to be on the throne, or if he is chosen to be a cultist of Pride, we don't know. Obviously, we do know that the throne of Pride hasn't been sat in for quite some time, so it could be that Subaru is chosen to become Pride or become the new leader of the cultists of Pride. That we'll obviously have to wait and see. We have Sloth next. Sloth in my eyes being Satella, mostly because of the powers of her shadow arms. I want to make sure people understand that I believe that Satella is a completely different person from Emilia. Because if you guys remember in one of the episodes, when Subaru tried to tell Emilia of his power, Emilia was killed by the Shadow Hands. Usually it is Subaru who is hurt, but this time it was Emilia. And then he goes off and hurts himself to kind of restart this time. We also do notice that every time when Subaru was fighting Betelgeuse in the final episode, Betelgeuse was screaming out Satella's name as he was dying, as he was hoping for her. And we obviously understand that Betelgeuse's powers, which is the Shadow Hands himself, is a cultist of Sloth. So can Satella be the sin of Sloth? I 100% believe so. It would make so much sense. The other reason Black Bear, on the other hand, believes Satella was envy because of the way she reacts and the way she acts. Whenever Subaru goes to tell someone his powers, the activation of the shadow hands kind of happen and grab his heart to stop him, almost to keep him away from telling anyone else. Why, we don't know, but Satella's character could most likely be a very jealous type of person. We do kind of also say that Blackbeard did also go ahead and say that we did notice how whenever Subaru tried to say anything to other people, he would die, and it would bring him back with his power returned from death. And when he said it to Emilia, she died. You know, we try to figure out why, whether it was because if Emilia died, Satella could take her body, or if basically if Emilia died, Satella could somehow take her body and end up becoming closer to Subaru, which would be her main goal. And usually we kind of see that because whenever Subaru is saying something to other people, he's the one that gets hurt. He's the one that gets hurt. So we kind of do see that. And you know, remember, this is all just a theory, guys. I can only tell you what I've seen in the anime and what I can kind of piece together. ReZero definitely gives us a bunch of pieces of this puzzle of the story, but not enough for me to make a solid conclusion. Then we go off with being the son of the sin of lust. You know, sin of lust, who has yet to be talked about or spoken about. Blackbeard did mention that he does believe the sin of lust is the main household user. You kind of do see, remember, he is the guy with the long green hair and 2 different colored eyes. He's basically the master of the house. He also looks like to be a very powerful magician. He's always out doing something. You know, we don't see a lot of screen time of him at all. And when we did, he was definitely injured. It looked like he just came back from a battle with who, we don't know. Could he be the sin of lust? Possibly. Could he be a cultist of lust? Even more possible. Hopefully that will be answered in season 2. I think I've almost basically talked about every sin. Gluttony, hang on. Envy, sloth, which could be Satella, unless there's another character that's shown to be representing another one. We have pride, which is Subaru. Lust, who could be the master of the household. Gluttony, which was the white whale. Echidna, which was greed. And then there's one more I feel like I'm missing. And then wrath, which is Puck. So we kind of have an idea on who is holding the thrones of the 7 deadly sins, and kind of who isn't, or who we believe it to be. Remember, the way we're going off on how these people are chosen to be sins is completely, you know, beyond us, kind of, in a way I could say, because if you guys ever seen the anime Trinity 7, the Trinity 7, which are the 7 strongest witches in the household and in the school, the sins that they choose are the way they gain their power from. They are the complete opposite of the sins, you know. So like, for example, Lilith, which is one of the main characters in Trinity 7, takes her powers from the sin of lust, but she herself hates perverted stuff. She's the complete opposite of lust. So, you know, it could be how that is chosen, you know, with how these characters are chosen for the sins. We do kind of see moments where Subaru is prideful, and other times we see moments where he isn't. But until season 2, we kind of don't have an idea on why these people were chosen for the sins. All we know is that they are definitely not aligned with the sin, but have something to do with said sin. So, you know, we're gonna have to kind of see, hopefully in season 2 it kind of explains that. Let me see, I've talked about our antagonist, who could be the sins of the cultists of both greed and gluttony. I've talked about the story, I've talked about our theories on the sins, and I'm pretty sure that was everything that we were supposed to talk about, or unless I kind of forgot something else. But as of right now, that's basically everything that we were kind of wanting to talk to you guys about on our theories on what's going to be happening for season 2 of ReZero, Starting a Life in Another World. If you haven't seen ReZero Start a Life in Another World and you watched this entire video, you get an achievement for something, I guess. Good job. I don't know why you're watching this video without seeing season 1. Go watch season 1. It's an amazing video. Drop a comment down below, guys, on your guys' theories, if you agree with me or Black Bear's theory on what could be happening or what will happen in season 2. Don't forget to drop a like and support your brothers in the Anime Den. We always appreciate that, and we always appreciate your guys' comments. Hopefully for Gleipnir, which by the way is going for 24 episodes, Black Bear will return because he's just not feeling well. He's just having a bad day, or his stomach just hurts and he doesn't want to record. But other than that, I'm going to close it off for now. I'm your host, the one and only Buddha Bear. I just realized I had no necklace. Pretty salty about that now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me here in the one and only Anime Den. I messed up this whole ending. Thanks for staying tuned. Catch you guys in the next episode. I said episode. It's not an episode.